Katrina, as most of you know, has become a monster of a hurricane.
It will be worse than the two other Category 5 hurricanes that made landfall.
To potentially be the 1 in 500-year event for New Orleans.
We're 100 miles away approximately from landfall.
It's simply too dangerous right now. At least one levee has broken in New Orleans.
It's going to be very unpleasant. We're not in here to feed people. We're in here to see that when Tuesday morning comes, that they're alive.
Looking at the Gulf and the temperature and the expanse between Florida and New Orleans, just knowing it was going to turn into something even more. I just had that feeling. It was horrible. Watch it hit the Gulf and explode and then strengthen, getting stronger and stronger as it went toward everything I loved.
Gary's daughter was in New Orleans, and he said, you need to evacuate. Come to Virginia. I'll get you a hotel to stay in tonight, but, you need to get out of New Orleans.
Early reports were things were okay in New Orleans, and then we started to hear that the levees broke. The levees failed. The city was filling with water. The power of wind, the power of waves, the power of destruction. And then realizing it wasn't just concrete slab, there were people in the water. I remember this famous shot of the people standing on the bridge waiting to be rescued. Can't believe my city is underwater. And one of the guys was carrying a tuba. He had to get out with that. Music was his life. I began to recognize people that I used to work with. I'm recognizing waiters. I'm seeing people that I used to work with. These were people that I knew. I could not just sit and watch. I never volunteered with anyone before. I didn't know what a mobile kitchen was, but I knew from my grandmother's that was the only thing I had to give. I knew that I had to go. It was a difficult time to leave. Ann and I had moved 9 times in our first 10 years of marriage. We were finally in a place where we bought a home. We were putting the kitchen together. The house was in shambles, boxes everywhere. A microwave and a coffee maker was the extent of what the kitchen functioned with. I couldn't just text $10. I had to do something, and I was just moved to do the only thing that I knew to do. I defaulted to my roots. I went and fed people.
I saw this mobile kitchen, and I just knew Gary would be intrigued by it. He then offered, can I equip this and get it down to help feed people? And within 24 hours, he had it fully equipped, and it was able to head down the road.
Arriving in Biloxi and seeing the big steel-hulled boats that had been washed inland. Homes weren't just destroyed or knocked down, they were erased. No remnants, no debris. Everything was washed away. In that first night, all the volunteers and first responders were at Yankee Stadium. I pulled in there in this little rent-a-car. You were sleeping in your car, big man, little car. Had the windows down, and this little breeze came in off the Gulf. By about 2 a.m, it got cold. I reached in the back to grab a chef coat and cover up in a chef coat, my little white blanket. There were homes all around the football stadium. I could hear people crying. And I was scared, but it was just hopeless wailing. That was the first moment that I realized that the Lord was shattering my heart. Not just breaking it, but shattering it, and that he would put it back together the way he wanted it. I'd always seen my grandmothers cook my whole life. That's what they did. Good days, bad days, happy days, sad days. They cooked. Food is so interwoven into the culture, and after the storm, that was completely rendered apart. Restaurants were closed, groceries were closed, homes didn't have kitchens. What was at the very essence of a city was taken away. And that's part of what disturbed me so much about the food that I saw being served, was it was completely void of the soul of the people. The essence of who they were, what they needed to recover, was not there. Now, the food kept people alive, and I'm grateful for everything that everybody did. But to me, that was no way to feed people that had just lost everything.
there was such huge need. He just couldn't do enough. And so he did all that he had all the food. He cooked everything he had and fed people.
It was so funny never having cooked in a mobile kitchen before. Somehow we got about 400 meals together that first night, but we ran out. Seeing people outside that I couldn't feed. And I remember crying like a child. It's like, God, you can't let me run out of food. You gotta make me stronger. You gotta make me faster. You gotta make me taller. You gotta do something, but don't ever let me run out of food again. But God said, Gary, I can use you. I can use you, but you're gonna have to let go of yourself. The call to go feed people was clear. My heart had been changed. I was consumed by that's what people that had just lost everything deserve, was that meal full of love and passion and dignity. I wrestled with the Lord. I had worked my entire career.
9 months later, he came to me and he said, I need to do this. God's called me to feed people, and I've got to feed people in times of disaster.
It was within weeks of turning 50 that I had the audible call. God spoke out loud and said, feed people. Just go feed people. 6 words that completely altered my life and my existence and my future.
There were many nights that he wasn't in bed drawing sample layouts of kitchens. And, if I moved this equipment, we could get 10,000 meals. He kept going back, needed to help and continue helping.
Very personal. My daughter lost the home. My grandmother was evacuated and fell and broke a hip, and we lost her.
The elderly were so displaced, and it was just very difficult for them to recover.
We saw so much pain and devastation. 20 years later, the city's back, but there's still places we can go right now and see scars from 20 years ago. An abandoned street of homes, buildings that have been locked up since the day of the storm. This wasn't a storm that just hurt. This was a storm that scarred. The pain of Katrina, because it was so personal for me, I still see in every storm we go to. I still see in every need. It's hard to imagine, but I feel even more determined and motivated today than I did 20 years ago. Because 20 years ago, I didn't know that it could make a difference. Today, I can tell you it does make a difference.
Katrina was the catalyst. It was devastating. It was horrendous. It's been a commitment that's been unwavering.
For me, it was even more, though. It was about a call. It was about God ordaining my whole career lead me up to that moment that my heart was shattered. And as God has put my heart back together and continues to put my heart back together the way He wants it, I'm more determined today to go feed people than I've ever been.